Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever pondered the truly, well, mind-bending question of what it means for saints to judge angels? It's one of those concepts that really stretches the imagination, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Right.
And it's not just speculation, you know. This idea comes straight from the Bible.
Right, First Corinthians, is it?
Exactly, 1 Corinthians 6, verses 2 and 3. It basically asks, don't you know the saints will judge the world? And then, don't you know we will judge angels?
Okay, so that's our starting point.
Yep. And our mission today, really, is to do a deep dive into the source material we've looked at. We want to explore the different ways this gets interpreted.
And figure out what this judging actually involves, like what saints do, and maybe just as importantly, what they don't do.
Precisely. So, first things first, the foundational principle that comes through really strongly in our research is this. The Lord Jesus. He's the ultimate judge. Full stop.
Okay, so no confusion there. Jesus is the final authority.
Right. Saints aren't overturning his verdicts or anything like that. Their role seems to be more about conveying his judgment, or maybe helping make it understandable to others.
That's interesting, conveying judgment. And I remember seeing something in the material about saints being called fools themselves. How does that fit in?
Yeah, that's a fascinating angle. The idea seems to be that because saints, humans, have struggled with understanding God's ways, may be seen as fools in that sense. They're actually perhaps uniquely suited to help other created beings, other fools maybe, grasp the fairness of it all.
Huh. So like empathy through shared experience, almost. Helping others understand because they once misunderstood too.
Kind of, yeah. It emphasizes that divine justice isn't just some abstract decree. It's meant to be understood as fair, deeply understood.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So with that foundation, Jesus as judge, saints helping convey understanding, let's get into the first main interpretation we found.
Right. This first view focuses on, well, action. It suggests saints will actually assist Jesus in defeating the beast army you read about.
The forces opposing God.
Exactly. And then involved in confining Satan's horde to the abyss. It sounds pretty active, almost like a military role in carrying out the judgment.
Where does the Bible support that idea?
Well, you see connections drawn to Revelation 19, where believers are part of the heavenly army following Jesus. And then Revelation 20 talks about them being given authority to judge.
Okay.
But under this specific interpretation, this particular role, this judging angels, by assisting in their defeat and confinement, it's finite. It ends when Satan is locked away in the abyss.
So it's a specific task with a clear endpoint.
That's the view, yes. Once that's done, saints don't continue judging angels in that particular way.
Got it. Active initial participation. But that seems pretty focused on the beginning of things. Is there more to it? Do the sources talk about involvement after that initial defeat?
Oh, absolutely. And that brings us to the second major interpretation, which is, well, much broader in scope.
Okay, how so?
This view suggests that, yeah, they assist initially, but then, throughout the whole 1,000-year kingdom, the millennial reign people talk about saints have another job related to the fallen angels.
Which is?
Revealing and exposing their accumulated sins and deeds. Think about it, unpacking everything they've done on earth for, what the sources suggest, maybe 6,000 years.
Wow, 6,000 years of angelic wrongdoing laid bare. That's quite a picture. Why? What's the purpose of dredging all that up?
Transparency, it seems. The idea is that this incredibly detailed exposure is vital. It helps all created beings truly understand why the final great white throne judgment is absolutely fair and just.
So it connects to that later judgment in Revelation 20.
Exactly. It's about making divine judgment completely, undeniably comprehensible. Remember that idea of fools helping fools understand? This seems to be part of that, making sure everyone gets the justice of it.
And those books mentioned in Revelation 20 that are opened at the judgment.
Well, the material suggests those books might actually contain these very records of sin, the stuff brought to light by the saints during that 1,000-year period.
That ties it together. Okay, so we have these two main roles. Assisting in initial confinement, and then this long-term revealing of deeds for clarity. But the sources were also careful to distinguish this from something else, right?
They were. It's important to note that this judging angel's role is seen as separate from the idea of saints ruling over nations or governing areas during that same 1,000-year kingdom.
Right. Things mentioned in passages like Revelation 2, Matthew 19, Luke 22, those are about administration, governing humans, not judging fallen angels per se.
Exactly. Different responsibilities. And again, even with the second interpretation, once Satan is finally dealt with at the great white throne, cast into the lake of fire by Jesus himself, the saint's role in judging angels, in either sense we discuss, is concluded. The ultimate judgment is always Christ's.
Okay, so let's try to sum this up. We've looked at two main perspectives from our sources on saints judging angels. First, there's this active, almost military assistance in the initial defeat and confinement of Satan and his forces.
Right, a direct participation at the outset.
And second, a much longer role during the 1,000-year kingdom, focused on revealing the past deeds of fallen angels in detail. This is crucial to ensure that God's final judgment is understood by everyone as completely fair.
Yeah, ensuring universal comprehension of divine justice. It's about facilitating that understanding, participating in the process, not being the final judge themselves.
It really paints a picture of meticulous justice, doesn't it?
It really does. And that actually leads to a final thought, maybe something for you to ponder.
Okay.
If understanding divine justice requires such detailed participation by the redeemed, this deep revelation of truth, well, what does that imply about how meticulous truth and accountability really are, both in that future time and maybe even for us right here, right now?